welcome to the Get Over Yourself podcast. This is author and athlete Brad Kearns discovering ways to be healthy, fit, and happy in hectic, high-stress modern life. So let's slow down and take a deep breath, take a cold plunge, and expertly balance that competitive intensity with an appreciation of the journey. That's the theme of the show. Here we go.
What I deal with anger is a quote from Epictetus, which is, it's not events that make us upset or angry, it's our belief in them that does. If you have a high level of awareness and you're running and exercising and you're saying, my priority is to finish my run for the next 10 minutes and it's okay being late, okay? If you have an awareness, you might say, I got myself here, I made this commitment, I value Dave's time, I'm going to cut my run 10 minutes short and be on time. I don't know, so I think awareness is a lot more powerful than values. You might end up saying, fuck it, I'm going to be 10 minutes late because that's my priority is to finish my run, and this meeting isn't that important. And that's okay. Like prior, I used to say, you shouldn't be upset. I'm going to argue with you. You shouldn't be upset for these reasons. And that was a big part of my composition, was arguing. And I couldn't get them to change their mind, right?
Yeah, because Dave Rossi's always right. Why the fuck?
Well, I care. I'm kind. You shouldn't be upset because I'm doing good things.
Right.
You just don't have all the right information. Instead of, I'm so sorry you're upset, I understand you're upset. It doesn't matter why you're upset. You're still upset, and I care about you, and how can I make it up to you?
This is Brad. I want to tell you about my life-changing acquisition of a personal home-use sauna. I have a 6x6 barrel sauna in my backyard, ready-made heat therapy, a fabulous unit from Almost Heaven. Check out their website. You can very affordably order your own sauna for installation in your backyard or garage and have a sauna experience, the fabulous health benefits accruing from exposure to hot temperatures. Get that sweat going. These are beautiful traditional dry barrel saunas where you splash the water on the rocks, go in there and relax. It's become a social centerpiece at my home. People traveling from far and wide to come check out the barrel sauna, turn the dial or set the timer and walk in to 200 degrees in the Caribbean seas. For some reason, people like to come to the sauna more than my cold tub. Go figure. Check out almostheaven.com and their beautiful natural wood designs, and pretty soon, surprisingly affordable, you will be in the home sauna business. Okay, here we go with the Breather Show from Dave Rossi, author of The Imperative Habit, and my guest for a wonderful full-length interview where he talks about using his 7 steps toward living a life of happiness and grace and peace of mind and getting out of those reactive behaviors that cause such destruction for ourselves and in our relationships. But hey, it all sounds great when Dave's talking up a storm on the show. And then when you have these situations in real life where you're dealing with a conflict, perhaps a relationship conflict, or any tough situation such as in the workplace, or when you're experiencing anger and you're trying to keep your head about you and not let it ruin your day or break down loving, peaceful relationships and smooth interactions. So this is Dave talking about how to use the 7 habits, how to put them to work and live in acceptance, but without getting walked on. So, right, we can't just accept everything and be a doormat for people with lower levels of consciousness, lower vibrational levels to come and mess with our day because we're so graceful and mindful and living in acceptance. So there's a fine line, a little nuance here. So we get a little raw and unplugged here, listening to Dave talk about how to use the 7 habits when you most need them. Enjoy.
Whatever comes out will be 1,000 times better than if you don't follow those rules.
Right. How can
compassion is not rolling over. It's, I understand where you are. I get it. You're upset. I understand that. I'm really sorry you're upset. I hope I can help you with you. But this is what I was trying to achieve. These are my objectives. These are my goals. Not defensive. Observations are not defensive. Stating your goals are not defensive. Disagreeing is not defensive. Saying no is not giving love and compassion. You can say no with love and compassion. So you finish the book.
Yeah, but you know what? I had to read it too quickly, so I'm going to read it all over again. Mia Moore and I will probably read it together. But you know, to get it absorbed, and you know, then I take
Practice.
notes, and I have, you know, notes from books put into the B.rad master thing. A lot of them are like fitness and training and diet things. But then I have, you know, John Gray's assignments and Deepak's for what does he call his 4 daily intentions that he reminds himself of every day in meditation. And it's, you know, it's a lot going in, and I think most people don't have time to deal. So, you know, what you do with extracting these 7 laws is really important, because, you know, we have a fighting chance at remembering those, especially if you write them down on a sticky note and, you know, tapping into it. Yeah.
I remember the checklist. I remembered I would literally, my ex-wife would call me, "You're an asshole, and fuck you for doing this." And I go, okay, love and compassion, accept, don't argue, don't defend, you know? And then I'd say, what could I say? "Honey, I'm so sorry that you hate me.
Sorry for your pain.
Sorry for your pain."
Was that your quote from Deepak? Or I just saw it today. I don't know, but he said, it helps to understand that people are doing the best they can from their level of current consciousness.
That's a check. Yeah. I love that. The book is a collection of all these other people's books. The chapter in relationships is actually pretty good too.
Oh yeah, we'll do a whole show on that, man. That's our bread and butter here. So,
did you read the example about leaving the towel on the floor?
Yeah.
I mean, that's all about relationships, and people do things that piss you off, and how do you deal with that? You know?
Yeah. John Gray just talked about that. I did a show with him last week, and his wife bugged the crap out of him that he left this light on in the living room, and it was a pretty powerful exchange, because he said, you know, today I'm pretty good. I go turn that light off, and he thinks of his wife. His wife died after a 40-year relationship. He's still struggling and traumatized, but you know, he said that when this shit happens, it's really different value system. And I go, can I say that out loud? That's awesome. He goes, no, don't say that out loud. You think that to yourself, like, you know, I'm leaving stuff on the ground because what's on my screen is more important, right? Or whatever that's your value system. But someone else, they feel like they become your maid. But if we can think of that outwardly, like that's just a different value set. Dave Rossi's late all the time. I waited 7 minutes for him at the coffee shop. He just has a different value system. It's not, you know, it's not personal, right?
Well, yes and no. I would say this. Number one, what I deal with anger is a quote from Epictetus, which is, it's not events that make us upset or angry. It's our belief in them that does. A lot of reasons why you're leaving the towel on the floor or leaving the light on is a lack of awareness. It's not necessarily values. It's literally your brain is busy and full, and that fullness, that chatter, those too many apps on your phone in your head prevent you from focus, being present, and awareness.
Well, a kid, frontal lobe's not even developed till age 25.
Right.
They have an excuse. Hey, I'm a kid. I can't think of towels.
Yeah, so I don't entirely agree with Dr. Gray that it's values. It would be values if you stopped, you were aware, and said, I can be late because I have a value system that I can be late. No one ever is going to say, I value being late. Okay. They might say, I have a priority that's greater doing, maybe that's values, maybe that's what he means. But ultimately, if you're aware, if you have a high level of awareness and you're running and exercising and you're saying, you know, my priority is to finish my run for the next 10 minutes and it's okay being late, okay? If you have an awareness, you might say, you know, I got myself here. I made this commitment. I value Dave's time. I'm going to cut my run 10 minutes short and be on time. I don't know. So I think awareness is a lot more powerful than values. You might end up saying, fuck it, I'm going to be 10 minutes late because that's my priority is to finish my run, and this meeting isn't that important. And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Or I don't like the oftentimes stressful aspects of being on time, like a little time machine. And so I make that conscious decision that I'm just not going to race through traffic or rush through the house and forget something and get into that high stress mode just to be there at 9 o'clock instead of 9:04. So that's kind of my value system. And some people that came from military or whatever, they think being on time's everything, and being 5 minutes late is a form of disrespect. That's their value system projected on me. I mean no disrespect arriving at 9:05 to my meeting with the former military guy, you know.
Well, that's
So,
when you use their checklist. I'm so sorry this upset you.
right.
I didn't do this to upset you. It wasn't my intention to make you less important. Also, if you know that about yourself, then you create a situation to prevent, to be kind. Hey, I know we're going to meet at 9. I just needed to let you know that I'm really sorry if I'm late, but sometimes I get overwhelmed with things, and there's a possibility that I might be late. I just, it's just that's awareness, right? That's an awareness.
Yeah, I
right?
think what works for me in those difficult relationships is if you can catch yourself from saying anything because you know it's going to get pounced on, especially if you have a long-term programming where two people are like to go at it, and you say, I'm sorry I'm late. What was the reason? Why were you late?
Yeah,
what
no,
was
you're
going
right. I agree
on?
with you, yeah.
I'm just so sorry. I have no reason and no excuse.
There's 2 reasons to give them.
I
There's
refuse
2
to
reasons
engage.
that give them the ability to pounce, and that's being defensive and arguing.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the checklist is don't defend and don't argue, because you don't want to give them ammunition, because it doesn't matter what the reasons were that you're late. They're just upset. So you rush in to make them feel better, not defend or argue. Like prior, I used to say, you shouldn't be upset. I'm going to argue with you. You shouldn't be upset for these reasons. And that was a big part of my composition, was arguing. And I couldn't get them to change their mind. Right?
Yeah, because Dave Rossi's always right. Why the fuck
Well,
won't they change
I care.
their mind?
I'm kind. You shouldn't be upset because I'm doing good things.
Right.
You just don't have all the right information. Instead of, I'm so sorry you're upset. I understand you're upset. It doesn't matter why you're upset. You're still upset, and I care about you. And how can I make it up to you? Instead of, hey, these are the reasons why. And I completely agree with you 100% on that. You don't need to give the reasons why. It doesn't matter.
Thank you for listening to the show. We would love your feedback at getoveryourselfpodcast@gmail.com. And we would also love if you could leave a rating and a review on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts. I know it's a hassle. You have to go to desktop iTunes, click on the tab that says ratings and reviews, and then click to rate the show anywhere from 5 to 5 stars. And it really helps spread the word so more people can find the show and get over themselves, because they need to. Thanks for doing it.